Hey everybody, we are in day 247, our Bible reading plan, and we are in First Thessalonians, the entire book, chapters 1 through 5. In fact, this is the 33rd book of the Bible that we're starting, 32 down, 33 to go after this. Awesome, right? And we're in Psalms. We're in Psalms 34. Psalms 34 is a wonderful psalm that will encourage you, so spend some extra time reading it today. In fact, today the theme is encouragement. First Thessalonians is all about encouragement. If you have read it before, then you're probably looking forward to reading it again. It's a short little epistle, and it's written after the second missionary journey of Paul. If you want to get more history as to when it was written, go to Acts 17, and you'll kind of get the backstory of when he wrote it. And he was wanting to make sure that the Christians were still walking in faith, because many of you know you can start off excited about God, but life happens and false teachings come in, and many people who say they're a Christian are no longer Christians after a while. So one of the fruits of knowing that you're a Christian is what happens with time. Do you continue walking with the Lord, or are you drifting away? It reminds me of the parable of the seed, where Jesus says there are 4 types of seed. And of course, there's the one that refuses right away, and then there's the ones that look like they're accepting, but then fall away with time. And sometimes the third is a category that gets discouraged because of the chokes of the world, and eventually also fall away. And then there's the ones that are real fruit that grow with time. And so Jesus told that story several times, and reported several times in the Gospels, but it kind of reminds me of that. And so Paul wants to see, are they doing well? Because there's a big persecution happening, and it's only getting worse. By the time Nero came, of course, so many Christians were burned at the stake, and others. The big idea then has to do with perseverance. To persevere in faith in the face of suffering is actually countercultural and possible only because of God's faithfulness to us. And listen, not just he's faithful, but also what can encourage us is the certainty of his second coming. We don't live, I think, very aware of that notion. We kind of know it as Christians, but First Thessalonians sort of reminds us of that. So the entire letter is sort of one of commending them because they've been steadfast in their faith, and Paul is just joyful and rejoicing that those who he have poured his life into are continuing in the faith. And so we see a lot of language of joy and perseverance. I love chapter 2. You know, there's a section where it's a reminder if you're in ministry and you get discouraged in ministry, or you're looking for affirmation. I mean, that's sort of speaking to the choir, but sometimes you're looking for people to approve and wonder, am I really in the right area? Listen, it's not about the people. It's about the Lord confirming you. He says, we speak not to please men, but to please God who tests our hearts. Nor do we seek glory from people, whether you or from others. And so Paul, again, is reaffirming to himself what he knows to be true. And so goes on and kind of a letter of sanctification as we move into the letter. He describes in chapter 3 the encouraging report that Timothy gave him after he went and visited the church. And we get into chapter 4 and says, this is what the life that's pleasing to God is, your sanctification. And it entails a few things, primarily fleeing sexual immorality. And boy, do we need that encouragement in 2025. We've got sex as our fingertips, so to speak, in our phones, and the desires of the flesh are constantly battling the desires of the spirit, and we need the Lord. And so we know that we were called to holiness. God has not called us for impurity, but to holiness. And so if you're wrestling with that, be encouraged. And this life is not all we know it. Jesus is coming back, or we're going to meet him someday. And so we finish with sort of that reminder of the day of the Lord that's coming. And I love the last few verses of chapter 5, which are sort of a summary of like, this is the work of the Christians, but listen, it's not you doing it. It is faithful is he who called you, who also will do it. So whether it's you're standing firm in the faith, being faithful sexually, or any other area, God is at work in you to do it. Love you guys. I'm praying for you today.